Python.
Yes. So as long as 3 things are showing, you're in Python. So this is just a command line thing, so you can just type as you go. If you wanted to do a script, you could type it and then run it separately. This is just one line at a time, which is helpful to see how Python works. But like if we wanted to run a whole script, we could do I think that's the thing. Oh.
Uh-oh. You broke it, dude.
So this is just a text editing thing. You could just type however you make a text file. You could make it and just name it something .py. So this is greg.py, which you can see
what?
Here. So I created a file called greg.py.
When?
Just a second ago. I was just doing that.
Why does your computer keep going? Bam!
But, why is it? I don't know. It's going to do that, though. So if I wanted to run a Python file, I would type Python, or in your case, it would be Python 3. Python and then the name of the file. So that's going to do the things that I told it to do.
Whoa! It says hello, still hello.
Yeah, so that's what the file is. That's what this is, a Python file. This is the contents of greg.py.
Why is there all them little thingamadoos?
They're just blank lines. But you could do this in any text thing, like what is a text edit?
Yeah.
So we could do it here too. I think save greg2.py, save it to Emacer. I am greg2. Input, wait, u equals input. Who are you? Print. Hello. You. So Python greg2.
What is this? Brandon. Hello, Brandon. What?
So the script that we just ran.
That's so easy.
So yeah, that's this is a Python script, and this is us executing the Python script. But yeah, so there's things you can do. It might be easier to have the whole script showing, but in the case of a for loop,
where are you writing it on that tiny screen? Oh, there you go, zooming in.
Trying to.
There it is. I can see it.
Oh no, that's not what I wanted.
That's big.
That's pretty big here. It might be too big.
Yeah, it's a little bit big.
Yeah, we'll back it off one. All right, so a for loop, you have something in something else. So the first thing is what you want to call it, and the second thing is an iterable. An iterable is anything that you can step through one item at a time. Generally, that means like a list.
That's close, man. Oh.
So you could do for, well, we'll assign this a value. So this is 6.
So wait, That's called a value?
This is a variable.
Oh,
We're
good.
basically storing this into sieves. And we can call this whatever we want, but we're going to have to refer to it by this name. So we're
right. But the proper terminology for that, like when I'm explaining it to a teacher, it's
variable.
We're setting a variable here, right?
Yeah, we're setting this list. We're setting this variable equal to this list.
Yeah, right. So whenever we call upon sibs, we're really calling upon that list.
That's correct. So we can do that, and that we printed. That's the list. We can also, because it's an iterable, we can iterate through that list. And iterating through a list means a for loop. For person in sibs. So person is just what we decided to call it. We could call it I. Sometimes it's easier to just say for I in because it's just a letter item it's short for, but we can call it whatever we want. The only condition is that we have to use the same name when we refer to it later. So we can do that. What's that?
I've been calling it index.
Index is okay. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Zabba Dabba. But whatever you call it, you need to call it the same thing inside the for loop.
But what I'm saying is, like, when I describe it, I describe that as an index or something. So,
okay.
Like, is that okay? Or is it better?
That is improper, because an index would be, an index is the numeric value that an item appears at in a list. So Greg here, this is the first item, so it's at the 0th index because
Okay.
start at 0. This is at the second index. So
Right.
Index, generally you would say sibs, this index is this here.
And that would be Greg. Okay.
This would be the index. When you're referring to indexes, it wouldn't be this. This is just the variable that you're going to use for the item when you refer to it. So index is not quite proper in that. In this case, so it goes through the iterable, and then person becomes each item one at a time in that list. So it'll become Greg, it'll become Brennan, it'll become Veronica.
So wait, if you were to print that 3 times, oh.
So the first thing it did was print this outside, so we can save it again. And I must not have saved it. Oh, shoot, I didn't delete the right thing. So the first time person is Greg, so it prints person. The second time person is Brandon, so it prints Brandon. And the third time it's Veronica, so it prints Veronica.
Now, does it do that 3 times? Why does it know to do that 3 times?
Because it goes through it goes through whatever this is. So it goes through this, however many things there are in this. So if we added an other, it's just the contents of this.
So it's actually running through it 4 times, not 1 time and printing 4 names.
That's correct. It goes through once. It goes through twice. It goes through 3 times. It goes through 4 times.
Yeah, okay.
So you can't use this when you get here. A person is overwritten. It's no longer Greg when it gets to Brandon. So you can't have reference to these 2 or these 2 because it's completely overwritten. It's loop 1, then loop 2, then loop 3, then, well, loop 4 in this case, but we can get rid of other.
So then if you say print person bracket 0, it's just going to print Greg.
Where if you're going to, no, in this case, person becomes a string. So at this point, because person is greg, print type. Type is a method that you can see what type an object is. So print type person, we'll see. This is a string. Person is greg, which is a string in this
Right.
case. So you can print person 0, but that's not going to print what you think it is, because when you print, you can index a string because a string is also an iterable, but instead it's going to do this. It's going to print the first index of that iterable, and that is the first letter of the name.
But why does it print Veronica too?
Because we're in this loop. So person is, we're in the loop. So the first thing it does, it's person here for the entirety of this loop. So until this tab ends, the for loop continues. It's only when the tab ends that the for loop ends. So the tab is over here. So here I could print done, and it will only print this once because the for loop has completed. This is the entirety of the for loop.
Okay.
On another note, you could, so when I say a for loop is an iterable, that means you can iterate through it, which means that you can what's going to happen here?
To print greg.
Yeah.
Like different lines, yeah.
So yeah, it's an iterable, meaning that it's a character, one character at a time. So you can go through it one letter at a time. Now, that range len thing, you said we were at 8. I think we hard-coded the 8.
Yeah.
Initially, we didn't do that. We initially had range len. I demonstrated showing you that you can unpack it. So for I in range len, this is sort of a strange way to do it, but it's a common way to do things that you need. If you need to know the index, and here's where index matters, because the benefit of doing range len something is that you can see the index, not just the value. Here, person is the actual value, Greg, right? Here,
Yeah.
I is going to be different. What's I going to be? I'll show you. It's going to be the index. So it's going to tell you that the first time it's 0, the second time it's 1, and the third time it's 2. So in this case, if you wanted to see Greg, Brent, and Veronica, you would have to print and call the index of sieves. So this is at the 0th index, this is at the first index, and this is at the second index.
Ha! Got it now.
So the benefit of this is that if you needed to keep track of it, now I'll do a little weird thing, but like if you needed to do something like sibling number I plus 1, and I'm doing plus 1 because it starts at 0, and so it's kind of weird. Sibs I. So you couldn't do this without doing this. Well, you can, but you can't do it the way that we did, where you have the number if you need to know which item it is in the list, which place it holds. That's the reason you would do range len sieves or range len something.
Okay, so let me, just because I think you answered one question that I had. So can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, I think you can hijack it, but if not, let me know. If you just try to share your screen, will it not work?
No, not remote control. Oh, right here. Cancel. I gotta hurry before I forget. All right, you see it?
Yeah.
So then you were just talking about, right?
Right.
So it's going through this range, and it knows it's 8. And so what you just did was, oh, we did that part. But like now I see, so app.letters is referring to this. And when I say it's always going to go this,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, because you need to know the position. In that case, you need to refer to the position, not just the value, because you need the same position for each of the 3 lists.
So would it screw up if I was to add like one more thing here?
Well,
my range is bigger.
Yes.
Let's do it. W.
So let's think about it. First, what is line 29 is going to be an important line in this case. So what is it that how do we determine the 8? It's by app.letters, right?
Yeah.
So if we deconstruct line 29 again, new, now that we have changed our like setup, let's start in the inside of as inside of parentheses as we can go. So we have app.letters, that's as inside as we can go. And then if we back it up one step, I can annotate, can't I?
Yeah.
Oh. Can I? Oh, there it is. Annotate. I don't see it.
Oh, mine was floating on the side of the screen on the left side.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at how you have to approve it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Man. Approve it.
All right, so we start in the very center with app.letters, right?
Right.
So we have app.letters, that's this list here. Okay, and then we'll expand it. So what's the len of app.letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Yeah. Okay, so what is range 9? Range 9 is a list starting at 0 and ending at whatever this number is minus 1. So it's going to be this list here, but with an 8 on the end of it, right?
Right.
That's good. Okay. So we're going to go through this list, and I think it will be fine. It's going to draw letter noodles a whole bunch. And once we get to 7, that should be cool. So I think we're going to have a problem when we get to
W.
So at W, what's that?
Like the one I added to the list, to the app letters list.
And now that's the eighth index. So right here, the last time we go through, I think we're going to have a problem right here. So what is the answer to this? What is app dot x at the 8th index? So we're going to look here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Nothing.
Right. So go ahead and do that. Do you have Python open or the terminal open?
Yeah. What do
Can
I do?
see it?
Oh, right here. It's like annotating. How do I make that go away? I'll click on that.
I think at the top of the screen, you can click the annotate.
I got it. Do you see that?
Yeah. So if you type, just call it X space equals space, open bracket. And we're just going to call it 0, 0, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, up through 7. And after the 7, we're going to have a closed bracket and enter. So this is similar to that app.x, right? It's 7 items long.
Yeah.
Shoot. It's 8 items long. Can you press the up arrow?
What the heck is
Oh
going
no,
on?
we're calling the, I think we're right. Are we?
That's 8.
It's the 9th index that we care about because it's 8. So we're calling the 9th index when we call 8. So we are okay, I think.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. Okay, let's try it. Try to call x bracket 8.
Call x bracket 8.
Yeah, just type x open bracket. So we're calling x the 7th. We're calling the 8th index of x.
So x8. Right?
Yes.
So it's out of range.
So try x bracket 7.
Well, that's going to be 7.
Yeah, so that's where we will have an error. If you attempt to go ahead and try to run the program if you want, but that's where the error is going to occur specifically. It should occur right on line 31.
Yeah, right on line 31, man. You called it.
Yeah, that was where and if we were to get rid of that, the problem would happen on line 32 because it would happen on app.y.
Right.
And if we got rid of that, it would occur in the second. It would occur on line 33 in that second part where we have app.xi because that 8 doesn't work. So the issue occurs if the issue occurs if we extend the list. Now, curiously, if instead we extended the app.x, there would be no problem. Why is that?
Because we're not calling on the length of app.x. We're calling on app.letters.
Yes, so it would just ignore. It would never get to that point.
Right.
All right, what else?
Okay. Let's check code again, make sure I didn't screw anything up. Awesome.
Can you get rid of my annotations, or do I have to?
X. Oh, there it goes. So then you have this one, right? And so we are making those these things, right?
Yeah.
And, here we don't use a for statement, and I found that rather difficult to explain why, because the last activity that they had, they really had to call upon, those letter news. So I'm trying to think in my head as I'm talking the answer to. So they called upon those 3 place values, right? The X, the Y, and the app letter. Why don't we have to use that here? Why do all we have to do is say on mouse press? Why does it, what is this? I look up here and that index is 0.
Right? So it's 0, okay. So the very first time we go through it, it's inside there is 0, and so then it becomes app.colors. Let's see. I have to request it every time, okay. So the first time that it goes through, it's app dot, wait. Ooh. App dot colors 0, 0, right?
What? Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's the first time it goes through, okay?
Why?
Because you said color index is 0, so I'm just substituting that. I'm just erasing that and putting the number 0 in. That 0, that second 0 is already there. That's what that 0 and then that 1. So in one case it's 0 and in the next line it's 1. So the flesh color is the first one and the peel color is the second one. So it's this and this, right?
Right.
All right. And then what happens on line 29?
You add 1. Yeah, I remember this part. So we add 1.
0 that we had, this value here becomes 1.
And then we divide it by 5, which becomes 4.
Well, we modulate it, I guess, by 5, which it doesn't become 4.
1.
It's still 1. The modulus only comes into play when we get to the fifth. And then it returns it to 0.
So then, it modulates it by 5, and then the number it becomes is 1, right? So now my AppColor index is equal to the number 1.
Correct.
So then when it comes up here and runs, and I click it again, so it stores it up top. So like this AppColor index needs to be separate from this on mouse press, right?
Absolutely.
Because
when you go ahead.
Because each time I click, I want it to reset back. So what is this called when you put something on this first line?
Initialize, probably.
And then what's the second line?
What first line? What second line?
Like, so, no, I don't want to annotate. Here, like this first tab space, and then you have things under it. This is necessary.
Okay. Yes. Def is a function. Def means you're defining a function.
Right. And functions always come here, or can you start a function here? But that function then would only be contained within whatever function it's nested in?
That's correct. So the function draw citrus is
Jeez. Yeah, I wish you could say always approve.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So like a for loop, the function is contained, it begins with the def and it ends when you exit out of the tab. So this whole thing is the on mouse press function. This whole thing is the draw citrus function.
Right. And so once you're done pressing the mouse, it resets back up, right? Up to the top.
All it does is run this every time you press the mouse. I don't know where that's part of the functionality of this product. Apparently, it executes this function every single time you click the mouse. However, when this function is executed, what happens is contained in here. So it doesn't care what happens up here as far as on mouse press is concerned.
But the AppColor index is going to change the value.
That's correct. It doesn't know what the value is. So every time that you click the mouse, it says, hey, go check AppColor index and put that value in here.
Yeah.
So if it's changed or the same, it doesn't know. It just wants to know whatever it is at the time that I click the mouse.
So then this would become, in this second run, I could think of this as being 1. Like AppColor bracket 1. No, right here. So I could replace this just on the second one in my head as 1.
Correct.
Right? So it's saying AppColors in the bracket, which means that it's represented there, right? The first indexed. Is that indexed?
That's the first index of the app.colors list.
And that's what this represents when you say the bracket, right?
Yeah.
Index. And so then it wants to do that second index, but at the 0 place.
Yeah, it's the 0th index of that. Yeah, it's the 0th index of the first index.
Yeah, that's why these all need to be here. So, yeah, you wouldn't need a for statement. All right, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, the looping happens because of the magic of the modulus. So it's only because this turns a number that just keeps on going up and up and up and up, and it turns it and it says, nah, we're going to loop around at 5 instead.
And so that always is that modulus. If I had so in up here, if I had whatever how many I have 5. So if I had 7 indexed things up here,
yeah,
I would always say I would change this modulus to 7.
Hell, you want to make it better? Do it like we did in the other one and say len app.colors. You know, instead of hard coding the 5, do modulus len app.colors. You can do that. It's just like, I mean, how robust do you want this program to be? Do you want it to work to get the green check mark, or you want it to work?
Like I would think that you would want it to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, I could write that here. You're saying I could take out the 5 and instead...
Absolutely. Go for it. Do it.
I got to get rid of all this wonderful annotation. So I'm going to say divide this by len that app dot colors. And do I need to call the index?
Well, answer that for me. What is app.colors?
App.colors is this.
What is the object type of app.colors? Is it a string?
It's a string, yeah.
Are you sure? What is the first character after the equal sign?
Oh, that's a bracket. It's an index.
It's a list. Lists use index, but call it a list. That's what it is. Now, a list can contain any variety of object types, like we saw. You can have a string and an integer in the same list. It can be the letter A, the number 2. It can be a list with a list. It can be a list with a dictionary. It can be any mixture of that. So what are the object types inside this? To understand this, it might be easier if you, let me take control for a second. And I'm going to restructure. I'm just going to press enter a few times.
What the heck is this?
Open some preferences.
Grant access. Oh, I got to open something here.
Yeah. There should be you need to click. I don't think it's going to let me see this. Oh, maybe it will. Okay. Click the lock to make changes.
Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't say this out loud. I like how that pops up on your screen. That's it?
And then click the lock again. All right, cool. Now, hopefully it will, okay. Stop clicking.
All right, I'm done. Oh, yeah, I see. So that feels like the way that they should have wrote this.
Maybe. All right, so app.colors is an object of what type?
App.colors is an object of what type?
What type of object?
So it's a list.
It is a list. Okay. How many items are in this list?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so what's len app.colors? It's the same answer that you just gave. What's the length of the list?
Oh. 5.
Correct. So len app.colors is 5. Now the question you asked is, do I need to add this index to it? What's this? What's the len app.colors 0? Well, let's start at what's app.colors 0?
That is yellow gold.
So what is len app.colors 0?
1.
There's one item in the list yellow, comma, gold.
Wait, hold on. So what is app.colors 0? Right?
Highlighted.
Oh, this is right.
That's correct. What is the type of the object app.colors 0?
A string.
What character does that begin with?
Oh, it's a Y.
No.
Damn it.
What character does app.colors 0 begin with? It starts before the Y.
Oh,
You highlighted it. What's the first character that's highlighted? You just unhighlighted it. Highlight all of app.colors 0. What's the first character? What is an object that begins with that character? What is the type of that object? What?
List.
It's a list.
List.
Excellent. Great. How many items are in that list?
2.
So what is len app.colors 0?
2.
Correct.
That's not good. We don't want that.
So, do we put %len app.colors 0?
No. Do that.
Why not?
Because then I'm calling upon that particular particular part of of the list in app.colors. And I want to just look at how many lists are there.
It's a list of lists. You want to know the greater list. How many lists are in this list of lists?
That is easier to understand. So this is not saying anything. This is saying bracket 0. This is saying bracket 1. This is saying bracket 2. So I'm going from into the list by saying putting anything here.
Yeah. You're calling an index of that list.
So this would work.
Hope so.
Holy, what would he give me for checking the? Oh, look at that. I'm going to keep that one. I like that better. You're going to look at that and go, man, he's
wow, we could even change the list. Go ahead, change the list. Add something to it.
Why do I do that? Then I'll screw it up. No, but
you can change it back.
All right, yeah.
Add 2 more things to it.
Use this.
Just make sure you put a comma at the end in between each item.
Just say green and
black.
Hey.
Oh, he can hear me.
Black. Oh shoot. Getting there, man. Getting it. Watch this. Boom. I'm gonna call this one red. And blue. Because I know those are real colors. No, don't need anything. So now I can run this code. Well, why did it do that? Oh, do I got to reset? No. Why is there yeah. And look at it, didn't screw up.
Correct. Yeah. So we made it like, and we made it better.
Yeah, we did make it better. When I hit play, shouldn't it not have those up there?
I don't know. Put on the solution.
Oh, the solution has them up there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, here's a question for you. What's len app.colors 0, 0? If you were to do len app.colors bracket 0, unbracket 0, bracket 0 again.
1.
Let me ask, what is the...
Representing just this, or is it representing the Y?
Well, let's think about it. What's len app.colors 0?
It's this line.
What's len app.colors 0, 0?
That is calling upon this. Oh, shoot. A string.
What is len app.colors 0, 0?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct. What's not len, but just what's app.colors 0, 0, 1?
0, 0. Oh, that's E.
Correct. All right.
Yeah, okay. I got this.
And what do you call, what's the word for what the 0 and the 1 are?
The code, wait.
Starts with I. What is 0 when I say, what is app.colors 0, 0? What's the term for that 0 or that 1?
Index.
Correct. Excellent.
Dude, I just had somebody text me if I could help them with Unit 10.
What's Unit 10?
That was the one, the noodles. That one. And I can totally help. Like, I think I could actually explain this through.
Awesome. All right.
Oh, okay. One last question, and then I'm gonna let you go here.
Whatever.
I'm sure you gotta watch more 9/11 videos at work. Okay, so I was trying to explain this one. I think I did a good job. But so if the key is pressed, space, right? So on key press, and this on key press, and then key. So is key something I'm defining, or is key something that's built in, that it knows key means?
Oh, 1 second. Yep. Sorry, 1 second.
Do you need to lose control of my screen?
I don't know what I need to do. I think I need to, hang on 1 second.
Go to work.
Trying to pause the video. Where'd you go? Video?
I think I need to stop. I don't know how to let annotating go away.
Video pause. All right, I'm back. There's pizza. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you functions real quick. Functions are really awesome. Isn't everything, but share content. Oh, share screen. Let's do this one. Okay. All right, so we're just going to start over. So when you have a function, you start it with def. And then like with for loops or with anything really that ends in a colon, stuff happens after it and it completes when the tab ends.
Right.
I am outside of the function, which starts with def. Functions always start with def. You're defining the function. The function name is greet, right?
Yeah.
All right. So in order to call that function, I have to say greet. That's how I do it, and with the open and close parentheses. All right. So this is calling a function. Hello is what that does. I am inside function. I could call it again, right? So this should have 2 times. I am inside the function. And then once I get outside the function, I am outside the function. All right, you following so far?
Yeah.
Print still inside. So sometimes when you have a function, you want to pass a variable inside that function. To pass a variable inside that function, you have to tell it what you want to call that variable inside that function. Just like in a for loop, where you have to call it something, you have to call this item, whatever, person. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it X, you can call it person, but whatever you call it, you need to refer to it by that same name inside the function. Print person. Now, the issue here is that now when you call the function, you need to pass it a variable, because if I don't, it will have an error. It will say missing one required positional argument, person. Here, I need to pass it something. Same thing here. Something else. All right? I'm going to delete these 2. I'll even delete this. So in this case, what's going to happen is I'm passing, this is going to be the variable. So this is person. At the point when this function gets called, this first time, something is person, and so person will be printed. Then this gets called again, but something else is passed, so person gets passed, and it prints person. All right?
Yeah.
So we should say something and then something else. All right?
Yeah.
In the same way, we could combine the 2, and let's do this. For, we're going to call it P, we'll call it per, sibling. Sibling in sibs, right? So we know in a for loop, it's going to go through and sibling. The first time is going to be Greg, the second time Brandon, the third time Veronica. I'll even change this. Hello, person. And here, we're going to, and we need to pass a variable, and that variable is going to be this sibling. So this is going to iterate through sibs. The first time sibling is going to be Greg. It's going to call the greet function, and it's going to pass this sibling from here into here. At this point, it's called person, and so it says hello person, or Greg, hopefully. Let's see. So it should go through each one and say hello to each of us, because how many times does greet get called?
How many times does greet get called? 3 times.
Why?
Because there's 3 sibs, or there's 3 siblings in sibs.
Right. And that changes each time, because sibling changes each time.
Right.
That is an argument. This is called an argument, a function's argument. And a function can have many arguments.
Yeah.
It can also say, greeting. You can have a default argument where you define the default, right? So instead of saying hello, we can say greeting.
Why do you have F there?
So this is a formatting string. This means that it's formatted, which allows you to use these squiggly brackets to insert variables. It's a prettier way than writing this. This is the same thing. Print greeting plus colon plus person. So this is a variable. This word changes. So we want to sort of insert this value into this string.
Okay.
But the F allows it to be sort of graceful. It's a lot easier to read this than it is a bunch of strings being smashed together. So in this case, this will be pretty cool. Check this out. It's the same for now. However, we're going to make it different. If sibling, and at some point it's going to be Brandon, we're going to greet him with a different word.
Yo. Why did it do Veronica twice?
That's a good question. Oh. Huh. Oh, it didn't. It did me twice because I didn't have an else in this. So I greeted myself. So what happened was when it was Brandon, it checked, it saw that it was Brandon, so it greeted me. But then it also proceeded to greet me again with the default. So what I should have done was else, so that in when it's Brandon, it doesn't greet me with this second one. It only greets me with the first one.
Yeah. Oh, yo! Yo! That's awesome.
So go ahead and share your screen again, and we can walk through what happened over there.
Oh, share at screen. Share. So here.
So this is a function that this program created and uses when you press a key. So this function is used by this whatever this program is, this alphabet program. I don't know how it's used outside of here, but when you physically press a key, it calls this function and passes a variable. That variable is key. Clearly that key is the key that you press. So you could print key and see, and it'll probably show you the key that you pressed inside the function.
Oh, yeah.
And if you had space, it'll probably say space, assuming.
Oh. Wait. Haha! So that's why.
Right.
The computer is reading this. When I hit space, it's seeing this word, space.
Correct.
It's going, shit.
It's just a string at that point. Key is just a string because the computer reads what key you pressed and it determines that it's a space. So you could do whatever, but that function has one variable, and that variable is key. And so you use that variable inside.
I don't need to write key in there. I could write whatever the hell I wanted to.
That's correct. As long as you change it in every point that it's referred to, you could call it anything. You could call it X, alf. Yeah, you could call it alf. And as long as you change every key to alf, you'd have no problem.
Dude, I'm going to check just because I don't believe it. Oh, what?
So apparently you have another key somewhere.
Oh, oopsie.
It looks like line 52. You scroll down a little bit.
Alf.
And I think you have, yeah.
So, okay, before I hit this, what is this? This is a property, right?
That is a method. So objects have attributes and methods. Attributes are like nouns. Methods are like verbs. Attributes describe something, and they just like return a value. Methods do something. Like a noun is just a word, a verb is an action. So upper is an action, and you can tell that it's an action because it has the open and closed parentheses after it.
Yeah.
If it was an attribute, it would not. If it's just alf.upper, then it's just an attribute, but it has those open and closed parentheses. And that means that it's a method. A method is actually a function. So what you're doing is running that function, and that function is upper. Somewhere inside that object alf, there is something that says def upper colon, and then there's a bunch of stuff that says what to do when that function is called.
All right, I get it. I get it.
That other function was called. Now, what does upper do? It does something. Like, think about it. What does upper do?
Upper, it just changes. So it says if Y, is pressed, then we're changing that to an uppercase Y.
Yeah, right. And upper is a function on any string. You can have any string and call the upper function. So if you go to your command thing, your terminal.
That one.
And we're going to just type a string. So put a string in your name. So
what?
quote, Greg in lowercase, end quote, dot upper, and then open and close parentheses.
Whoa.
Yeah, so any string you can call dot upper on.
And this is just, that's in this program. So in this
That's built into Python. That's a built-in method on all strings in Python.
All right. So my alf doesn't work.
Why not?
I hit it. It says an error occurred.
What's the error?
It says the if is not defined.
Is that what it says?
Oh. I accidentally changed that, I think. Or I took out an A. Now it's playing. Oh. What the heck? Space. Yeah. Haha. I'm going to keep it as Alf. Uh-oh. Oh, look at that. I'm keeping it. They're going to be like, whoa, he changed it on his own.
But yeah, it doesn't matter what you call when you're defining the function. What you call the arguments doesn't matter as long as inside the function you call those arguments the same thing.
Gotcha. All right, man.
All right. Good for now.
This works, dude. I'm gonna go.
I'll send you the video when it's done processing or whatever.
That'd be rad.
Yeah, let me know when we're doing it again. Happy to do it.
All right, man.
All right, later.
See ya. I don't know how to leave it.